We have in the right, as the green Protoss, representing Team Techno Vikings, GL Richie, his partner, ProClan, AI ProClan as the blue Terran, and in the left we have the pink Zerg Hack ProTech and his partner, the red Protoss Power, representing Team ProTech. Let me get those colors arranged here. And we are seeing a probe.
Yeah, but this is that same timing as last game, so I think he's just going to want to pop in here, and he's actually sending out a second probe as well. Look at this, he's actually going to build on the low ground here. Both of these guys are going to build on the low ground here, so this is that kind of wall off we mentioned. Now this can, this can be a little bit tricky to pull off, but I do like it. It really, it's certainly, if you pull the wall off down, then you've got your easy natural, and you would certainly get something that certainly more resembles a macro game, but we actually have a very early pool coming out here from ProTech. He's actually only on 6 drones, which would make that a 6 pool, would it not?
I would think so. If there's 6 drones, it would be a 7 pool because one of them was used for that spawning pool. He might have produced one. I was busy changing the colors at the time, but outcome 6 lings, 6 pool, and 7 pool going to be pretty much the same as far as when the lings come. 6 pool will be slightly faster, but who's keeping track?
And now this low ground wall off, I mean, he went for a forge, but are they going to be able to close this wall off fast enough before these lings get across the map? There's the forge missing. We'll see a cannon come up very shortly. But are they going to be able to close this wall off? Now, this is the thing, the pylon actually not part of a wall, so they're going to need more buildings to actually be able to close this off.
Yeah, it looks like they'll need 2 more. They might choose to block it with a probe just to try to stall for another one. And is there a... There we go. Now it's a tight hole. That extra barracks does seal the deal, and these lings are going to do absolutely nothing. Richie and ProClan have to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now because they have just stopped a 6 pool, and they have to know that Zerg is going to be very far behind on economy right now. If you check out Harvesters, he's had 6 Harvesters compared to 13, 16, and 15.
The cannon does go down, so there's a bit of value there, but with only 2 Zerglings, it's going to be very difficult. This first Marine is going to pop out. These Lings will be able to be a little bit annoying, but that's kind of the end of the rush. So yeah, like you were saying, not a lot of drones right now, and with this, very fortified wall off, already got a bunker going here. They're just going to be able to basically make a command center and a nexus and do whatever they want.
Yep, they're off to a good start to try to even the score at 1 apiece. The hardest count now 11 for ProTech, so he's doing a good job of just droning up, but they're going to be very vulnerable to some kind of timing attack, around like 8 minutes or so, depending on if Richie and ProClan want to expand or attack. I think if I was in their shoes, I would just play it safe and probably just take an expansion, keep that wall up going, and just win with superior macro.
Yeah, it's interesting. AI ProClan has actually taken both his gases here, so he is looking to tech up. He's actually throwing down a factory, so I'm really curious what his plan is here. Last time we saw him just kind of go right for tanks. I'm thinking he's going to do something similar, just get out tanks, be super safe, and then expand, but they could certainly follow up with the timing attack, and look at that, another bunker is actually going down. Well, these guys are just trying to play so safe, and Power... It's actually throwing down gateway number 4 and 5 here.
Yep, in the corner of his base, number 4 and 5. Now, I've never seen a 5 gate. Is that smart? I mean, can you fund a 5 gate? Maybe if your partner's feeding you? I don't know.
That's a good point. I would imagine you'd have to be feeding him. I mean, the 5 gate generally comes when you're doing like a Nexus cancel or something, so you're cutting a bit of units, and then you kind of have a big burst of money you want to spend fast. It's obviously a little bit suboptimal in terms of getting the most units at a certain amount of time, but if he is getting fed, it could do the trick. And look at this, the Stalkers actually, they're basically going to be able to, get some free kills. Of course, they've got 1 less range than a cannon and equal range to Marines in a bunker. And siege mode is on the way, though, as well as a siege tank, though.
Yeah, and that is one insane wall, man. It's going to take a long time to bust through. He's got 4 more Stalkers, 9 Stalkers total. He is microing back the weak Stalkers. One of them might go down. No, it does survive. This guy just wants to finish off that cannon. He is a glory hog, and he does just that. Still, this bunker not able to range down these Stalkers, so it looks like a gateway, supply depot, and maybe even a forge are going to go down in just a short moment here.
Yeah, certainly being very effective here with this 5-gate, and the Zerg player with both his gas geysers up, and the only thing he could be doing is just straight up feeding. You can see he's actually got Larva just kind of building up, because he's sending all his money to his opponents, and this is pretty solid, but as siege mode finishes, I think that's going to be about it, unless he just kind of wants to bum rush that tank and then take the damage, which would also make sense.
Yeah, I think Power really needs to go for that cannon right now. He has a Dark Shrine on the way. If he can eliminate that cannon at the front of the wall, he might be able to get past and at least do something.
Look at our green Protoss's base there. Looks like a whole bunch of Zealots got into the main. Look at that, actually, there's a pylon that an Overlord was spotting there, and that's GG right there.
Oh
wow.
My gosh, that was crazy. Overlords at each side, warping in 5 Zealots in each person's base. That was just a bit too much. Oh my goodness.
Wow. It just goes to show the importance of having your base scouted. You know, last game we saw Nidus, that was almost game-ending, and right there, just 2 pylons letting him warp in units into the corner, and 6 pool into 5-gate. That looked pretty strong, and that means, wow. Are we getting a game 3 then?
Are we? Power and...
No, that was
they won both of them, right?
2-0, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's the problem with a random player. You identify what the race is, and then you say something foolish, like we're getting a game 3.
No, I was getting confused on the Pro Clan and the PowerTech. I was double-taking it every time, too.
The Techno Vikings, they got Tech in their name.
Yeah. So that is going to be the series. Team PowerTech taking that. And I had something insightful to say, but I completely forgot what I was going to say, so this is where you fill the dead air at a BC.
The only thing I can say is that you always got to be ready for any kind of aggression in 2v2, because I think we saw it there. You can defend a 6 pool and lose 150 minerals worth of cannons, and that's it. And then just have a 5-gate followed up with, of course, the feeding there, and you just get crushed because, of course, you're dedicating all of your defense. You're building those bunkers and cannons in one spot, and then all it takes is just a couple Zealots in the mineral line, and I mean, obviously, that's your whole economy.
Now that reminds me, do you think that the 6-pool feed was a strategy, or they figured, well, crap, 6-pool didn't work, let's try something drastic, how about you go 5 gateways with Dark Templar and you warp in stuff in the opponent's base?
Yeah, I mean, that is certainly hard to say. I feel like it must have been. I'm sure they were probably disappointed with how little damage that 6-pool did. But, I mean, I can see that 5-gate feed working very well in any number of circumstances. Like, generally on that map, if you don't wall off that low ground area, if you don't have a Zerg, both your teammates will just be walling off your own ramp. And by just feeding one player, instead of having, 2 separate armies that can have a hard time working in synergy, you just end up with one big blob. And then you just kind of overpower one person, and then you end up fighting, like, 2 smaller armies. I don't know. Very bizarre, but very effective strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense, because if you just take PowerTech's army, which was, let's just say, 15 Stalkers, I don't know, 15 Stalkers, and you eliminate about 8 of those Stalkers and add in 10 Roaches, all of a sudden the army doesn't seem as strong, considering the path that game was taking with the wall off, and just Roaches, they just don't have as long of range to even do damage to that wall off, so feeding can be a viable strategy. You see it a lot in, just pickup games, 2v2, 3v3, 44s. Usually it's with mutas, and in this case it was with Stalkers and apparently Zealots with the warp-in, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. I think that's the kind of stuff that will be seen more in the future, because I mean, the 2v2 scene is slowly developing. I've been watching, of course, the EG Masters Cup is kind of the other main 2v2 staple in the community, and it's like the teams have kind of been finding their way through this 2v2 metagame, but something like that is just so insane, like pretty wild.
It adds a lot of variables, just the resource trading, the ability to do that. There's just so many different things you can do, and And how do you know if it's good or not? There's not really a standard in 2v2 right now. It's kind of a metagame, but the resource trading is just, it's nuts.
Yeah, I feel like for a while there it was the Hellion Ling combination that everyone said was the be-all end-all. But then everyone's like, man, no one has a clue now. I certainly don't. Like,
it used to be Reaper Ling, now it's
yeah,
Hellion Ling, and now Hellion's
fun.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was fun when I was doing it and people weren't doing it to me. But now Hellions are getting nerfed. Maybe it's going to change from that. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're not getting nerfed as bad as Reapers were nerfed, though.
Yeah.
I still play like random 4v4 games and just go mass Reaper. It's fun. Every now and then your team, you get a lot of people very angry with you for doing that. But either way, let's take a look here. It looks like it's going to be the Bed Flippers. And who are they playing against here? Pink Fluffy Unicorns, I do believe.